Entitlement reaches all walks of life, as you'll find out in this episode of Entitled People. Our first one is from Freaky Pickles. So imagine that you're a raging Karen out looking for opportunities to yell at random service people, but those awful people just keep doing their jobs correctly. What's a Karen to do? Well, apparently, the thing to do is yell at the employees on behalf of someone who just wants a simple, honest mistake to be fixed in the easiest way possible, and also yell at the non-Karen for not Karening out. I got a hazelnut coffee this morning, and the girl at the counter forgot to add the hazelnut syrup. No big deal. I realized it almost immediately, went back up to where I collected my order and asked her to just squirt some syrup into my cup. She apologized and offered to make a new one. I said it wasn't necessary and handed her my cup. Well, crazy Karen behind me had a full-on fit over this. First, she yelled at the employee for being stupid. Then she insisted that I get a new one. I tried to calm her down and tell her that it was fine, but she wasn't having it. This idiot actually yelled at me and said pushovers like me were the reason service was so terrible everywhere. Eventually, the very nice but very intimidating looking manager politely took her by the arm and escorted her out. I don't know what he said to her outside, but he came back in with a big grin on his face, told everyone she wouldn't be back, and complimented the girl at the counter in front of everyone for being so professional and so polite to a rude customer. If I could have given him some kind of award, I would have. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a great manager, one that will put their employees over the bitchy-ass Karens. We need more managers like that in this world. This next one is by Adora125. A quick Linda story from this weekend. Linda and my partner have a joint calendar for the kids. It tracks who has them, appointments, activities, etc. Linda also has this calendar as her default and apparently doesn't know how to change it. Whenever she makes a restaurant reservation, it saves to the kids' calendar. Linda will quickly move it to hers and delete the entry on the kids' one. It also sends my partner a notification that an event was deleted. My partner saw Linda had deleted several entries for restaurants in a city about 5 hours away. We figured she's going to go on vacation while we go away with the kids. Since she was planning on meeting us near the resort to pick up their daughter for a school event the day before we left ourselves, my partner asked if she wanted to swing by the resort to pick her up since it's on the way home from that city. It would also save my partner 2 hours in traveling and he could spend more time with their young son. How do you know I'm going anywhere? I saw the deleted entries for the restaurants in the kids' calendar. I've heard City is nice and one of the restaurants is excellent. I hope to try it sometime. The pickup will stay as planned. Linda then decided the most reasonable thing to do was to remove the kid's father from the joint calendar, so now he can't see any of their activities. And we have to rely on Linda to actually tell us if she plans something. Edit, it was suggested to give a little background. Linda requires us to tell her when we go out of state, in case there is an emergency. She threw a fit when my partner did that once, even though she deleted it from the joint calendar. However, she refuses to tell us the same. You have to love these Karens with double standards. In this case, why is it okay for her to do things but not everybody else? It just sounds like this Karen is just a complete control freak and feels entitled to the world, when in fact she's not. This next one is from Nature Upbeat. I was in the line at the checkout at the local grocery store this morning. There was a woman checking out, the woman behind her, me, then a man behind me. The woman checking out was giving the cashier a hard time about her coupons, being so nasty. The man behind me says, "Wow, she is such a Karen." The woman in front of me, "Do you have to call her a Karen? My name is Karen, and it's such an insult." The man replied, "Join the club, lady." "Why? Your name isn't Karen." "No, my name is Dick." The silence was wonderful. I'd love to have seen the center of the meltdown point inside of the Karen's head when he told her his name was Dick. The fact that she said nothing just shows there was no comeback. This next one is by FMintar1. I always thought that a lot of these entitled people stories in this thread are false and made up. Today, I was proven wrong. Entitled people do exist. So I drive a semi for a living, delivering pallets of merchandise to local stores. Local roads aren't easy to maneuver with 18-wheelers, so oftentimes I took up a lot of space whenever I tried to make a turn. Most drivers are nice and understanding though. They usually move out of the way, back up to give me some room without hesitation, or some even drove out of their corner street parking spot and parked in another parking spot so I can use their space to make a tight turn. Lots of nice drivers. However, today I met the rare, unsung hero that made this story possible. This morning I was driving on a single lane, two-way road, and I need to make a right turn at the end of the street so I can make it to my first delivery, which is a couple yards away from the T-junction. The T-junction has a stop sign only for my lane, so it's quite a dangerous turn since the incoming traffic doesn't need to stop. The street I'm turning onto is a double-lane, two-way road, but there's a construction at the corner of the road occupying the right lane. That means I have to swing wide, taking up the left lane of the other way so I don't cause an accident on the construction zone. As soon as I saw that both ways are clear, I made the turn carefully. Some vehicles came last minute from the other way, but they saw the construction, so they understood and all of them moved to the right lane, giving me space. All but one. This lady came up from the other way to the front of my truck before I finished making the turn, forcing me to perform sudden braking, which she does well. Then she was pressing hard on her horn. She was yelling something that I couldn't understand, mostly because she was still honking, but also because our windows are rolled up. She's inching closer to my truck that's on standstill while gesturing me to move out of her way. Her turn signal is on, indicating that she's about to turn left. I just gestured to her as well, shrugging my shoulder, making sure she knows, like, what am I supposed to do? I can't back up, there's another truck behind me waiting for me to finish making my turn. If I back up, I'll hit the truck with my trailer tail. Mind you, it only takes me a few seconds to complete the turn, and there's no cars behind her because apparently, other drivers understood to at least give a truck some space to finish a turn, especially when the roads are tight. I also saw some vehicles turning behind me from their right lane, so there's no excuse that this Karen of a driver can't do the same. By now, she was honking probably for a minute, refusing to reverse. This caught the attention of the construction workers. Also, this causes traffic jam from the left side of the T-junction and also behind me. People were furious and she wouldn't move. One of the construction workers told the lady to just move back and give me some room to finish my turn, but she wouldn't budge. She just yelled something at him while still pressing on her horn. After a while, I had enough of her, released my brakes, and started to inch closer to her. I had no intention to cause any damage, just hoping that she would get scared by my threat and move back. What do you know? It worked. Her eyes widened, she panicked for a bit, switched her gear shift to reverse and started moving backwards. I didn't give her any room to move forward again. Just keep inching forward while she's moving backwards. Until I saw that my trailer is safe to finish the turn, then I'm back in my own lane. Karen gave me a death glare, but I did the same to her. I also stuck my tongue out to her, because why not? Then, the most hilarious thing happened. From my side mirror, I saw the construction workers clapping and cheering for me. Also, the truck behind me also made their turn, giving Karen no space to move forward again. Then, the vehicles on the left side of the T-junction just kept going, not letting Karen make her turn. It was glorious. I made it to my delivery about 5 minutes late, but it was totally worth it. I learned at a very young age that those big trucks take wide turns. I think most people who went through any form of driving classes or school took their tests should know that basic common sense. Unfortunately for entitled Karens, they just think that they're entitled to everything regardless, and the rules just don't apply. And our final one is from Chaos King 1081. This is another story about my experience as a cashier at Walmart. I worked there from 2008 through 2010. Needless to say, this was before they went almost entirely self-checkout. Now, to provide some context here, the store had one specific lane to purchase tobacco products from, and to try to prevent as many issues as possible, there was a huge sign at the register that explained that our registers automatically ask for birth date information on tobacco sales. The sign also explained rules pertaining to third-party sales. A third-party sale is when a person buys an item for another person. In this case, with items such as tobacco products, alcohol, anything else you have to be a certain age to buy, it's required by PA state law to card both person buying it and the recipient if it's a known third-party sale. Of course, there are loopholes around this. The recipient could just stay outside, or they could choose not to make it known that the buyer is buying for them. Now onto the story. I'm working the cigarette lane this night when this couple starts to unload on the belt. While I'm ringing them out, the man is telling the woman with him he needs a pack of Marlboros. So immediately, I know this is a third-party sale. The state sends mystery shoppers at least once a month to make sure stores are in compliance with the rules of tobacco sales. If you're caught breaking those rules, the store gets fined, the cashier that made the sale loses their job, and the store could lose their license to sell tobacco products. So when the woman comes to ask for Marlboros, I tell her that I need both his and her ID. This doesn't go over well with the man because he doesn't have his ID on him, so he questions why I need to card him since he's not buying the cigarettes. I explain the law for third-party sales to him, and this makes him even more irate. He goes on about how stupid the law is and that I better card every single person in line then, and so on and so on. Well, the lady right behind him comes to the register. This lady happens to have a baby with her. She asks for a pack of Newports. The register asks for ID, which she has ready. I enter her info and cash her out. Well, little did I know, the man I just refused a sale to decided to hang out for a minute to personally make sure I was in compliance according to his standards. So he started demanding a supervisor the moment he saw I didn't card the baby. Yes, I'm serious, he wanted me to card a baby. So now he's shouting at whoever will listen about how I discriminated against him, and he demands that they reprimand me, make me apologize to him, and sell him his Marlboros. The supervisors explained to him about third-party sales, just as I had done earlier. Again, he goes on about how stupid the law is, and that I just broke it and should be fired. By this time, the woman he was with had come back in the store looking for him. She sees the commotion, apologizes for his behavior, and convinces him to finally leave. I laugh at the absurdity and continue my work. That very night, he tries to come back in, but is stopped at the door. The manager explains he's barred from that Walmart due to his actions the day before. He starts up again. Another manager radios security to call the police and he's escorted out of the building. Fun times. I like how this guy really feels so entitled to, police you and monitor you to make sure that you're doing the job properly because you denied him. And then to have you want to cart a baby, like literally, he's fucking deranged. I'm glad that the second manager ended up calling security though. Alright, that's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled People. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.